Now here's something I've wanted to show for ages. Here's my Macintosh Classic, guys. Now I went through a phase of retro / vintage Macs about 2 or 3 years ago, and I bought this off eBay. Including postage, it cost me £67 and 67 pence. Including postage, and I got a £10 discount, so it ended up as £57 67 pence. And I got the discount because when it came, it had a crack in the corner because it wasn't packaged well enough. Now I'm debating with the idea of selling this. If anybody's interested, it could be listed on eBay quite easily. That crack you see in the corner is going to be repaired. Me and my dad are going to do that very soon. We're just going to fill it, and it will look it might be a slightly different shade, but it'll certainly look a lot better than that hole in the side. And that hole isn't noticeable because it's not on the front of the case. If you look at the computer dead on, you can't see it. You can only start to see it when you go around the edge of the computer. Anyway, here's the Macintosh Classic, not to be confused with the Macintosh Classic 2. Here is the keyboard that shipped with it at the time, and here is the mouse. Now then, this mouse, you see a lot of people with the sort of oval shaped one button Apple mouse when they have a Macintosh Classic. This was the mouse that shipped with the Macintosh Classic. This was the second Apple mouse, you know, after that original massive square one. This was a slightly new and improved design, but still very, very square. Here's the original keyboard that shipped with it. You see some people with the incorrect keyboard as well, but this is all legitimate, guys. There's a power button at the top of the keyboard here, because some Macs at the time didn't have a power button on them and required you to start them up from the keyboard. So this has a 9-inch screen. It's black and white, obviously. Here you can see the 3.5-inch floppy drive bay in the front. Alright guys, I hope you've got a good view of the screen. What I'm going to do now is reach behind the Mac and flick a big switch that's above the kettle lead. There you go, you heard the famous beep that's on most early Mac systems. Now then, the reason you have to flip that big switch and you can't turn it on from that keyboard is it's quite hard to explain, but when you plug in your modern computer and press the power button on the front, you can start up straight away, you know. For example, take the Power Mac G4. You can start that up from the keyboard with the power button because you've got power going to the machine because the power supply is plugged into the outlet on the wall. In this case, the power supply acts as the on and off switch for the computer. So you turn on the power supply, the computer turns on. You turn off the power supply, and obviously the computer turns off. Some modern computers also have a switch on the power supply, but you still have a normal button as well. This one, as soon as you knock on the power supply, it just goes straight on. So here we are at the desktop. As you can see, the machine boots up very, very quickly. That's partly to do with the reason that it's not clogged up with too much stuff, actually. The hard disk is fairly full, but it's a clean system. It's organised. There's nothing plugged into it at the moment apart from keyboard and mouse, so it didn't have anything external to load. So it booted up quite nicely. So here we are sitting at the Mac OS 7.0, I believe, desktop, and as you can see, some stuff has changed, but there is still some stuff that we still see in OS 10 today. Now then, specs of this machine. When it came out in 1990, a lot of people thought this Mac was slow. And in fact, guys, that is the truth, because the maximum RAM you could put in this Mac at the time was 4 megabytes. And in my opinion, for 1990, that wasn't good enough. Fair enough if it shipped with 4 megabytes, but not for upgradable options. Now, this Mac sold for $1,500, and what did you get for your money? Well, you got this little box with a 9-inch black and white screen. Now, the black and white screen was a complaint amongst some people. What else do you get? You don't get much else really, guys. You get a 40 megabyte hard drive, okay? You get an 8 megahertz Motorola 68000 processor, and you get 1 megabyte of RAM. So not the best spec'd computer, but I guess it was fine for some people. Even on Mac Tracker it says that lots of people found it slow, and I can imagine that lots of people did, because it's not a fast machine for the time. This was upgraded to 4 megabytes of RAM, and yeah, I'm going to take you around the system now. Oh, by the way, this actual whole Mac was updated in 1993, something like that, to the Macintosh Classic 2, or it could have been upgraded in 1991. Yeah, the Macintosh Classic 2 basically, I believe it had a faster processor, it was upgradable to 10 megabytes of RAM. I don't know if it had a bigger hard disk, but it was overall better performance, and it still had a black and white screen, and it sold for $1,900. But the Color Classic came out after that with a color screen, so it's all good.